Finally, we have it. The Godzilla vs Kong trailer. And I must say, Legendary and Warner Bros. Almost didn't want us to see what is to come. I think maybe. Let us all remember that this day, the 24th of January, as the day we finally get to see the trailer of the most epic movie of this century. So let us break it down, part by part, what has been shown to us. Before that, let us just agree that it was super awesome. And along with the teasers, we are now ready again, energized for the upcoming battle. Of course, the suspense was a bit too much, and quite a number of us have started to lose interest and patience. It was the opposite path that they have taken, and if you remember KFTM, it was just a little too much, and we could almost predict the movie itself. So let's get to it. So at first we see a city under attack. Which city we do not know, but the blast seems to affect a lot of buildings around it, and the people are taking shelter in underground metro stations. And in here we hear the words, "It's our only chance." And right after that, we see a carrier battle group carrying the unconscious Kong on top of the biggest ship that they have there, which surprisingly isn't the aircraft carrier but looks to be an oil tanker, a big one at that, bigger than the Gerald R. Ford carrier. In the tanker, Kong looks to be fully sedated and snoring his way to Kingdom Kong. And as we can see here, his neck, his legs and his arms have been chained with super heavy chains. And how he got himself into this mess is unknown, but since later on in the trailer, it is said that he cares for a human child and has in a way promised to take care of her, or we can almost see a slight resemblance to the original Kong movies in which he was love-struck with Anne Darrow up to a point where he got knocked off with chloroform and sedative drugs, which made it possible for humans to ensnare him and chain him up for the transportation into the mainland. In the next scene, we see Kong looking around, almost with curiosity at the chains that bind him to the ship. It was almost as if he was okay with it and was voluntarily allowing himself to be chained up. There were no monarch armed guards or military personnel that were alongside him just in case things go sour. And in that scene, we hear the words that said, "We need Kong. The world needs him to stop what's coming." Then fades out with a scene of the military jet fighters escorting the convoy of ships that were transporting the giant ape. Then we get to the part where it was laid out that Kong is in fact in a deep connection with a human child, maybe a kid from the Iwi natives of Skull Island, and as we can see, she can only communicate with sign language, which means she was deaf, or in a way, like the Iwi natives, not capable of speaking. It is said that this child is the only one that he communicates with, and the person knew that they had a bond since she had nowhere to go. Therefore, even the person there, she made a promise to protect her, which was similar to Kong in some way, as they could see Kong did the same thing. He was a giant silent guardian of the human child. Then finally we see some action in the trailer, as both the Iwi child and most probably an admiral of the battle fleet senses Godzilla was on the way to intercept Kong, of which the next scene was shown as Godzilla swims at full speed towards a destroyer warship. His super durable and hard dorsal plates were too much against the armored hull of a United States warship. It is seen that he slices the big ship in half, and what ensues is a big explosion in which, in a way, shows how useless human technology is against a super life form that has millions of years behind him of evolution to help it into perfection. Then immediately jet fighters are seen firing missiles at the G-Man, but to no damage at all. Then surprisingly Godzilla can actually take out jet fighters with his tail. Then we see the human characters all in shock as if it was unbelievable that Godzilla was able to take down all their defense weapons and without even breaking a sweat. They were also scared in a way that the most powerful force on the planet was hostile towards them, which only means that they were helpless and useless against such odds. Even Kong with all his might was seen in a state of awe at what was coming towards him. It was a look reminiscent of, "I should have stayed at home. I'm sorry, Ma." Then we get to the scene where we have already seen, the one where Kong fishes Godzilla out of the sea with a bait of ape humor and wit. At this time we hear the words, "It's Godzilla," as if we needed to be sure that the G-Man was the G-Man. Then a prolonged clip of Godzilla actually trying to climb on top of the ship, which surprisingly is seen as the aircraft carrier. This means one thing, that the ship that was carrying Kong was originally shown to be something like an oil tanker, and now it's a warship. This means that there is more to this battle than what meets the eye. Kong might have gone overboard and was nearly killed by Godzilla.